Good morning, Card Communities. RJ back with another video. So let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. Picked this up a while ago, put it down somewhere and couldn't find it for the longest time. And then I just stumbled across it in the house the other day. From 1980, although it probably was printed and produced in 1981, but from 1980, I will say, a cloth bag from a toy store in the Philadelphia region called Kitty City, Lionel Kitty City. And it has facsimile signatures of all of the 1980, or should I say most of the 1980 Phillies. I know this because Mike Prawley is right there. He was not on the team in 81, nor was Sparky Lyle. And I saw Sparky Lyle's name on here in one of these places. There's Sparky Lyle right there. But the most important one, of course, is Mr. Michael Jack Schmidt right there. That's why this is a Mike Schmidt collectible. A lot of really cool signatures on there of most of the team, including some of the, what do I want to say? This is why it might be 81, because I think that's Gary Matthews, who didn't start with the team until 81. Anyway, it's an awesome Mike Schmidt collectible because it has Mike's facsimile signature on it, so I love it as a Mike Schmidt collectible. The random baseball item of the day, I want to show off a cool card. If you are a baseball historian like I am, a person who loves the history of the game, this right here is a really cool set for you to get. It's called Origins of Baseball, put out in 1994, I do believe. Don't think it has a date on this one, but I believe it's 1994, American Archives Publishing Company. I don't think there's a date anywhere. I just know that it's 1994 by doing the research, and it has all kinds of cool things, including this card. Really cool thing. It looks a little odd to us because of the shape. 30 feet from the pitch to the bat, and then this square around it, the stand. Catcher, the stand, a 4-foot square, midway between A and D, 60 feet bases. This is all about what is called, take a look here, the New England baseball. In the mid-1800s, when baseball was being formed from the different games of bat and ball games that existed, there were two that came out on top. What is known as the New York game, that's what we play today, but also the New England game. And they had their supporters and their detractors. This game was very popular, obviously, in New England. So let's take a look at some of the history of the New England game on the back of this card, because I think it's pretty fascinating. Although the Knickerbockers version of the game was the most popular, other forms did exist. The most notable was the Massachusetts game, which was played with a smaller ball and 10 to 14 players on a side. The field was shaped in a square using 4-foot-high posts for bases. The first team to score 100 runs was the winner. Massachusetts game thrived in New England until the late 1850s when B.F. Guild, president of the Tri-Mountains, traveled to New York to study under the Knickerbockers. Upon his return, Guild proclaimed that his team would only play by the Knickerbocker rules. Unfortunately, he could find no opponents in New England who were willing to play by the different rules. Finally, in 1858, the Tri-Mountains faced the Portland Club of Maine on a Knickerbocker baseball diamond at Boston Commons. Within 2 years, the Knickerbocker rules became the standard for the entire region. So again, there were other forms of baseball in the early days, but eventually the New York game won out because it was a superior, game, I guess. And this little set right here, Origins of Baseball, has a lot of cool cards just like that inside of it. High probability they will be bricked up and you will have some paper loss if you're buying it today. It is a high gloss set that is prone to bricking, just to forewarn you if you choose to purchase. Today's trivia question. We are in my showcase of cool stuff from the 80s. So for that reason, the question is an 80s question. Name for me the three members of the 500 home run club who each hit their 500th home run during the decade of the 1980s. There were three members of the 500 home run club who each hit their 500th home run during the 80s. What you're playing for? 4 Hall of Fame cards from the 80s. Ryne Sandberg, 88 tops. George Brett, 88 tops. Nolan Ryan, 89 tops. Cal Ripken, 89 tops cards. So 4 Hall of Fame 1980s cards. If you could shoot me an answer to that question, I will include my email in the description below. You will have today and tomorrow to answer. We will pick a winner on Sunday, all right? Good luck to everybody on that one. So today, another oddball set from the 80s that I want to show off. It was released by Topps, solely in packs of its own. It was not a insert or anything. It was released in separate release packs. 2 years they did this, 1984 and 1985. They look very similar except for a copyright date. Let me show you and introduce you to what is known as the Topps Rubdowns. So this is the 1984 Topps Rubdown set. You can tell because of the copyright date right there. This is the 1985. Once again, you can tell by the copyright date. Otherwise, they look exactly the same. Now, not every image in here is the same. I'm not going to go through the 85 set. It's subtle enough not to warrant me going through both packs, but I will go through the 84 set so you can get a sense of what it is. Now, what is a rubdown set? What is a rubdown? Now, they had this awesome instruction. When I was a kid, those things, these little pieces of paper with these sticker kind of things on them, were available in play sets of all kinds. I mean, every theme you could imagine: Matchbox cars, princesses, superheroes, cartoons, you name it, sports people. This was something we did as kids when I was young. And you would take this thing, you would cut it out. A lot of times they were sold as packs with these stickers, but then it gave you a background image as well. So like if you were into space, there was a space and a planetary scene. For baseball, there would have been a baseball stadium scene if there was a generic thing. These weren't sold with any background, but then you would simply lay this on the scene wherever you wanted to be, and then you would put it down, and then you'd rub your pencil over top of the image. So you would lay this flat on the piece of paper, rub down off of that, and then the back, you can see here there's a tissue paper here. This image would transfer onto the piece of paper. That's why this is here, to protect those images so they don't end up rubbing off. But that's how you would create a scene. And they were really cool, except for the fact that once you did it, it was done. In other words, once you rubbed it down, well, it was stuck there. You couldn't do it over. People, we really loved it to start with, and you realize, well, crap, now that it's on there, the fun's all gone. We can't do anything other than look at it. It's just a picture now. So they came and went in a couple of years, but I have the whole set of both the 1984 and 1985 Topps Rubdown. There are 32 individual sheets for each year, but each individual sheet has multiple images of players, baseball-themed things, little bats, balls, everything. Every sheet has multiple images, multiple things. So you can see here, the first one, Hall of Famer Harold Baines, along with Lonnie Smith of the Cardinals, Tony Armas, and then gloves, bats, and balls. All right. This one, no Hall of Fame. Well, no Hall of Famer here. You have Ron Kittle and George Hendrick, Don Baylor, And then Johnny LeMaster. There you go. Buddy Bell of the Rangers. Lloyd Moseby and Ray Knight. And again, always a bat, balls, and gloves smattered in there as well. Altie Hemaker, Frank White, and Bruce Benedict. So again, not everybody is a Hall of Famer in the set, although there are several Hall of Fame members in the set. Rick Dempsey, Keith Hernandez, and there's your Wade Boggs, 1984. Paul Molitor, George Brett, Andre Dawson. There's a smattering of Hall of Famers thrown in with a portrait of Alan Wiggins. Pedro Guerrero, Tom Bernansky, and Darryl Strawberry. Rick Sutcliffe, Goose Gossage, Hall of Famer. Bill Buckner and Dave Stieb portrait there. Rod Carew, portrait. Matt Young, Carlton Fisk, batting pose, Johnny Ray. You can see down here, some of the cards got crimped in the sealing process when they seal the packs. So every once in a while, you'll get a crimped card, unfortunately. Steve Carlton, Dan Quisenberry, and Bob Horner. Phil Garner, Ron Guidry. Awesome Gary Carter. Looks like he's about to just catch a pop-up there. Steve Kemp and Kent DeCulvey, love me a teak. And then the portraits, Ron Say and Greg Luzinski. Luzinski had moved on to the White Sox by then. Julio Franco, Chris Chambliss. Chris Chambliss was on the Braves by then. And then Dewey Evans. Dwight Evans, who should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Jack Clark, Damasco Garcia, Hal McRae, and Lance Parrish. Dave Concepcion, Freddie Lynn, Jesse Orosco, and Cecil Cooper. Jose Cruz, Hall of Famer Jim Rice and Jack Morris. Gary Matthews on the Phillies, Gary Matthews. Cantor Beck. Tom Seaver, back with the Mets. And then Ron Davis. Lou Whitaker, hopefully soon to be Hall of Famer. John Denny, who had a Cy Young Award-worthy season in 1983. Carney Lansford and Mario Soto. Leon Durham, Steve Sachs, and Davey Lopes. Gary Gaetti, Bobby Grich, also a soon-to-be Hall of Famer, I hope. Gary Reedus, and George Foster. Steve Garvey, Bill Russell, George Wright, and Jerry Remy. So again, not everybody was a Hall of Famer. Dickie Thon, Bruce Sutter, portrait of Bruce Sutter, Moose Haas, and Andre Thornton. Here you go, Mike Schmidt and Tim Raines, two Hall of Famers. Pat Putnam and Toby Harrah. Here's a fantastic one, Pete Rose and Ricky Henderson. Two guys well known for lots of hustle. And then Dave Righetti. Steve Henderson, Alan Trammell, Hall of Famer, and Bill Madlock. Bill Madlock is another guy I'd like to see in the Hall of Fame someday. Awesome Nolan Ryan, rear and back, ready to fire. Larry Parrish and Lamar Hoyt. Reggie Jackson, obviously Hall of Fame. Eric Xiao, Jason Thompson. Tommy John, Terry Kennedy, Ozzie Smith, and Eddie Murray. Dave Winfield and Dale Murphy. Then Kenny Singleton and Jeff Leonard. Willie Upshaw, Steve Rogers, a Cal Ripken portrait. Cal does not look happy there for some reason. Look at that sad sack of a face for some reason. I don't know what his problem is. And then Craig McMurtry. Don't even know Craig McMurtry at all. Dara Porter, Jim Palmer, and Ben Ogilvy. And then lastly, Fernando, Tony Pena, and Robin Yount. So that is, in essence, the 32 sheets of the 1984 Topps Rubdown set. Again, there was an 84 set and an 85 set. There are subtle differences in the 85 set versus the 84. but several of the cards look exactly the same, and you will not know which ones you have unless you look for the copyright date. So if you are a super collector and you want to make sure you have them all, you must make sure you have both the 84 and the 85 versions, which I do for my Mike Schmidt one. So I'm a fan. It's just another one of those awesome oddball sets. I'm trying to show off sets that were available as in packs. They were available. They were available in their own individual release. They were not available as inserts in something else, or you didn't buy them in their own little release. You had to, in like a subset or an insert or whatever, you had to get it on its own packs, and Topps released it that way. So it's a cool little side product that they did. Just wanted to show off another cool 80s product. I'm trying to avoid the box sets. As much as I like them, box sets are not worthy of honoring in this series of videos. I want you to see the various unique other products that are out there other than base Topps. You know what I mean? I want you to see some of the other cool things that are out there, and I think the Topps rubdowns fit that bill. So we'll have one more on Friday. Come back for that. Really do appreciate you spending some time to watch this. We will have another great trivia and prize Friday, and of course another fantastic, awesome set from the decade of the 1980s. Shout out to John, you 3D 80s kid, you. Have a great week. Take care.